Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Rob again with Perfect Spiral Capital. One of the things we've been looking at recently is what percentage or what proportion of someone's income does somebody actually keep within their system and allow it to grow? Essentially, how are we retaining and building capital? And then from there, I want to show you a little bit more about my own personal situation and what's occurred for myself and my family since we've implemented the infinite banking concept. And the reason for that, I want you to see what might be capable for you as well. In a recent Facebook post, I broke out what the average American situation looks like. And I have a couple of visuals to go along with that just to help illustrate what's actually happening. So I'd like to show you those real quickly here. So first of all, we can see that we have a person's income, and we're going to use round numbers to keep this relatively simple. Let's just say someone has $100,000 in income, and this might be the average American's after-tax situation with both people working. In a recent video, I outlined that the average American makes around $50,000 a year after federal taxes. So in this case, let's take a look at someone's $100,000 income and how much they're actually retaining. We saw recently that a person on average, or at least the savings rate, including 401ks, Roth IRAs, all that good stuff, cash, whatever it might be, the average person's only saving about 6.7% of their income. So out of $100,000, that's only $6,700. 93% of that income is flowing through someone's hands. They're only holding on to about 7%, again, if we're just going to round it up. And what does that mean? Well, that means we have a significant amount of money that's flowing through somebody's system on a monthly basis, and especially on an annual basis. $93,000, right? That's a huge amount of money. Think about what that is over even just 2 or 3 years. You know, you're talking about $270,000 potentially in a 3-year time frame that have flowed through your system, and over that time frame, you've only kept maybe 21,000. That's not a lot. How do you expect to be able to retire on that when that much money is flowing through, right? So those are some of the things that we're thinking about. So let's think about what really happens with that $100,000. If a person works for, we'll just say 35 years, and they are able to make, again, let's just assume this is a couple, but let's say they make that $100,000 for all of those 35 years. They will have had $3.5 million pass through their hands. That's a significant sum of money. Not only that, of that $3.5 million that's passed through, they will have only held on to about $235,000. So when you really think about that amount of money, what does that feel like to you? Does that feel right that that's all you got to hang on to? I'm sure it probably doesn't. I know it didn't feel that way for me. So what I wanted to talk about today as well is just kind of highlight how we have to think about things differently. We have to see the problems that we face. And sometimes we don't want to see those. Sometimes we don't want to face the music, so to speak, that maybe we do need to think about our thinking and realize that the conventional financial system maybe doesn't have our best interest at heart. Maybe we do need to think about things differently. Maybe we need to educate ourselves a little differently to better understand what's really going on. And that's exactly what I had to do. And that's what happened to me when I read this book, Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash. It opened up and changed my mind. It changed my thinking and understanding. And because of that, we've had a significant shift in our own personal finances. It's really changed how we do things, how we look at life, how we finance the things that we face in our life. So I want to share a little bit of that with you. When I look at our personal financial situation, we were doing slightly better than average. We were saving about 8% of our income every year. Now, I'm not saying it was $100,000, but let's just say it was $100,000. That would be saving about $8,000 versus our example before. It's a little better, but it's not significantly better. And one of the things that helped me change my thinking through the book Becoming Your Own Banker with Nelson Nash was seeing that I needed to redirect the flow of my money. I needed to redirect first where those funds went to. And those funds needed to flow into a system that I owned and controlled. So if everything flows into my system first and it then goes out to distribute to expenses, then goes out to pay bills, whatever it might be, I start to change the flow of that money. I'm able to pool that flow of money in a little bit different manner and be able to start to control and create my own reservoir. And that's really what we try to strive and teach here at Perfect Spiral Capital, and that I work on with my clients, is helping people to see that money flows, and it's either going to flow through your system and leave your system, or it can flow and begin to pool so that it gives you the opportunity to do something. Well, that's exactly what I did when I started this process. And again, going back to my situation before we implemented the infinite banking concept, we can see that like I mentioned, there was about 8% that we were saving every year. Multiple years on now, and that's changed significantly. Now, somewhere near 34% of the income that comes in and flows through mine and my family's life gets saved in our system. That's a huge change in the flow of money. And that's one of the things that we really strive to help people understand in this concept, in understanding our thinking and understanding what the infinite banking concept's all about. It isn't about investing. It's not about all these fancy different things that are out there. It's about changing our thinking and changing the way that money flows through our lives. And if we can redirect and control how that money flows, we stand to be able to get ahead. One thing that I'll say is that we certainly didn't go from 8% to 34% in our system overnight. It took time. It's begun through a system of policies that we've implemented in our family situation, but it's very real. And that's the part that I think is very surprising to a lot of people, is this whole concept, this changing of our mindset, this changing of our thinking is very real, but we have to be open to it. We have to be willing to think about things differently. We have to be willing to challenge the things that we've learned and break through from the arrival syndrome, as Nelson says in his book. We have to think differently about our own thinking. And when we do so, there's amazing things on the other side if we really challenge ourselves in that manner. So what I'd like to just challenge you to do is go out and get a copy of Becoming Your Own Banker. Read through it. Really understand it. Maybe you need to read it more than once. But once you do, let's set up some time to talk. Let's really understand where your thinking's at. Let's understand how there's ways to control that flow of money that's flowing through your life and redirect it in a way that's going to be more to your benefit instead of the benefit to other people. When that money flows, that money doesn't just go anywhere. It doesn't disappear. It means it's going to make other people more money. So if you can retain that and you can keep that in your system, now you stand the chance of being able to stand well above the status quo. I hope that this video allowed you to think differently about money and the income that's flowing through your life. And I hope that challenged you to think a little bit differently. And hopefully it was valuable for you too. If it was, feel free to like and subscribe and check out our additional links for more content. And we'd love to talk to you. Have a great day.